Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, been stuck in my head here since last night's press conference, if you will. I spent some time here this morning looking up the figures. I briefly touched on it this morning. You guys saw it, where Biden got really upset and says, guns kill more of our kids in the country than anything else. Okay. Again, being the good little liberal he is, and guns are the problem that we have everything. No, guns aren't. Okay. And I'll link it below so anybody can look it up. Right. If we go into the 2023 numbers, obviously the best we can get because we're only halfway through this year. According to ABC News, liberal ABC News, last year, 1,306 teenagers and 276 children were killed by means of a gun. Okay, so 1,582 kids were killed last year by someone with a gun. Inevitably, somebody who the Department of Justice didn't lock up. Very rarely do you have somebody whose first crime they ever commit is let's go shoot a bunch of kids. Okay, won't say it doesn't happen, but so I went and looked up the other things that have a tendency to kill children. That, of course, Joe says is not superseding the gun deaths. According to the Guttmacher Institute, in 2023, 1,026,690 abortions were performed in the United States. Let me see. 1,800, 1 million. Yeah, Joe. No. I think abortions are easily the number one killer of children because adults don't get born. Okay. But of course, you'll have the liberals come up and say that, well, it's not a person yet. Christ, you had, what was it, Maryland, Virginia, whatever, I forget what state it was, that, you aren't a person after you're born. We could abort a kid up to 3 weeks after the baby's born. It's not an abortion, that's murder. Okay. Abortion's murder. So let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at drug deaths amongst adolescents. Okay? In other words, anybody under 18. This data comes from PBS, good old liberal PBS. Now, the most recent numbers they have is deaths in 2021. And that number is deaths from drugs, overdosing. Okay, not this does not include kid gets stoned, goes out and drives a car, kid's in the middle of a drug deal and gets shot, stabbed, whatever. This is just ODing. Okay, in 2021, nearly 1,200 adolescents, minors, were killed via OD. So then I took it a little further and said, okay, let's take a look at 2023 because PBS can only go to 2021. So we did a simple Google search, okay? Liberal Google. This is what they say. Based on the available data, it is difficult to estimate the exact number of minors who died from drugs in 2023. However, we can look at the overall trend of drug-related deaths in the United States. According to the search results, drug overdose deaths are up 30% year over year. That suggests the number of minors who died from drugs in 2023 may be higher than the previous year. So let's look at that. Okay, if we had roughly 1,200 that died in 2021, add 30%, that gets you up to 1,560 in 2022. Add 30% to 1,560, and that gets you right about 2,000. Guess what, Joe? 2,000 is more than 1,800 too. So not only does abortion have more drug deaths, or abortion have more deaths than guns. So do drugs. Now let me ask you this. Where do those drugs come from? Most of those deaths are from fentanyl. Where is that produced? Primarily China. Okay. How does it get into the United States? Primarily across the southern border. What are you doing to keep drugs from coming across the southern border, Joe? Oh, that's right. Nothing. Don't give me this bullshit that guns are the number one killer of children. Let me ask you this one, Joe. You know the old saying, the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun? Or is it the only that stops an abortion is a good abortion? Or the only thing that stops a bad guy with drugs is a good guy with drugs? Those don't work. Okay? Guns protect lives, Joe. Drugs don't. Abortions don't. Are there bad people that use guns? Yes. Are there good people that have abortions or use drugs? No, not really. Okay? You could say, oh, they're good people having abortions. It's just a lapse in judgment. But kind of like your debate performance or your press conference performance. It was just a bad day. Okay. Yeah. As people, as citizens, we really need to stop listening to these lies that are told by people who have an agenda. Okay? It doesn't make a lick of freaking difference if somebody has guns or not. Never once in my life has any of the guns I own killed anybody. Never. Okay? Simply put, the guns don't do it. The people do it. It's the bad people, the people who have a lack of moral compass, who wind up shooting other people or overdosing on drugs or aborting children. We, as a country, need to hold our elected officials accountable for everything they say. Democrat and Republican, no question. Do Republicans lie? Oh, yeah. Do Democrats lie? Oh, yeah. It's up to us to not take what they say on face value and to fact check them. The whole, losers comment that was debunked finally. That was debunked years ago by people. They just don't want to believe the fact checkers. We're real good. The public is real good about separating the wheat from the chaff if we actually go look at it. All those people who blindly believe what CNN or MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS, Fox, whatever, blindly believe what they tell them, wake up. The internet's a wonderful thing. You can go look up data. Okay? Numbers don't lie. Everybody can have an opinion, but actual facts that are in numerical form, numerical is black and white, kind of like gender is black and white. Okay? There's a lot of people who will try to fudge numbers, fudge the gender. Okay? It doesn't hold water. When you look at the actual numbers, then you get the actual truth. So when somebody comes up to you and gives you one of these BS lines like Joe gave yesterday, it's up to each one of us to call them on the mat, whether it's on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, in person, wherever. When they feed you a line of bullshit, you need to be the toilet paper. And we'll out.